Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where today we have some mega progress in the build of my dream garage. Here at the Shmuseum, we are now on part 4 and we're going to be seeing some big transformations to the drywall of the upstairs area. Martin from Novus is cracking on already, but by way of a recap, this is the transformation of what was once a milking parlour on a farm, not exactly in the best of states to house a car collection. We've installed car lifts, we've picked up a ton of cool memorabilia, my F1 show car has returned, we have the fully operational F355 Challenge and all of the heritage gas pumps as well. But we need to get everything set for what's happening next. We need to clear out the gazebos, which have been our temporary offices, and in fact there's a lot of that to go through later on because this is all happening behind me. The grandstand is being built. As you can see, since the last updates, a fair few things have changed. We need to have a quick run through of those in only a couple of days. The progress is unreal, and then we're going to be seeing a ton more of the build up there coming together to start getting the visual effect of what this is going to look like, transforming it into the perfect office space here at the Dream Garage. What you see happening up here then is that Martin is completing the bulkhead across the top, because the idea behind this whole construction is that it will look like a grandstand at a motorsport venue. The whole theme here, when you look at the cars, is the fact that many of them are track-focused machines. The GT, built to go racing at Le Mans, the Senna, named after one of the greatest F1 drivers in the world. In fact, talking about Senna, we finally have the banner back up there. That's been missing for a while, up at the entrance next to the Zenvo logo as well. So that's the idea here, with the industrial railings, with this kind of open feeling, a bit like a hospitality box at a motorsport venue. Say you were at a Formula One Grand Prix, you were in an office or a luxury space looking out over all of the action. That's the idea with what's happening. Now, as a very temporary thing, in the downstairs space, the lounge, if you will, and I've got to be very careful here because we've got all sorts of tracks and railings and things ready for what's going to be happening next. We've brought in the outdoor furniture which will be living on the outside, just to get a bit of a sense of what this room is going to be like. In the corner is the Lego Eiffel Tower under a dust sheet at the moment because of course lots of work's going on. We've brought in many of my 1:18 scale model cars as well, but I can tell you, when you're here looking out, this is pretty mega. Now, like I say, this is temporary. The floor is protected until we're ready to reveal all and kind of make it still feel new once we do get started. But out this way, we're going to have the workshop area over there. We're going to have a long dry wall for a storage section hidden away behind. There are lots of things that I perhaps haven't fully mentioned up to this point. Obviously, we've had the build of the kitchenette. We're going to have the toilets and things around the corner. That's where the outside water sources and drainage are effectively. So we're kind of dictated by some external factors in terms of how this build develops. But obviously, it's been a mega start so far. We should, however, head upstairs and go see how that's changed up to this point. As we're heading upstairs to go and have a look, see if you can spot what might be slightly out with the 675. We're going to come back and sort that in a moment. Now, there's been a lot of work, obviously, since the last update. Some painting at the other end that's been done. Obviously, the base layers of white, which go down before the blue. This end also has a little bit more white, but come on up, because the big change here is to actually have some plasterboard. Martin is cracking on here, so we will try and make our way around without getting in the way too much, if we can manage to do that. But we have rooms, we have walls, we have obviously plasterboard, insulation in between. Come around this side, we have the extra office, obviously enclosing the storeroom here, which is a little bit surreal, to be honest. We've got a lot that has to be worked around though, because if you look up, all of the metal beams and purlins and RSJs as part of obviously the barn itself have to kind of be worked around for this. There are all sorts of other elements that I've been learning as well, like how you do this, and obviously Martin is already cracking on with the bulkhead at the front of this, because the idea there is to make all of that feel very much like the sponsorship kind of logo beams and bars where you'd have all of the banners and flags and things at a race venue. And obviously using these kind of things to hold it all in place, which will all be painted eventually down the line. But yeah, happening fast. Oh, there's one more thing to go check out downstairs. We've been down for about 5 seconds and the bulkhead up there is nearly finished. I was not expecting that anyway. We need to talk kitchenette because I saw a few comments about people thinking this isn't big enough to have a table or anything like that, but it's literally a kitchenette. It's for microwave, fridge, not really sitting down and dining. This is not a kitchen at home. It's not like that at all. However, before I show you the changes, I do want to say a special thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Why Food. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. If you're having a busy day and you don't have time to go out and get yourself some food, like we often don't, this is where Y-Food steps in with a healthy and tasty meal replacement drink. Each 500 milliliter Y-Food drink contains 26 vitamins and minerals, has no added sugar, is rich in fiber and protein, is lactose and gluten free, plus has no preservatives and all the macro and micronutrients that your body needs. Today, I had smooth vanilla last time, but I'm gonna go for happy banana this time around. You never know when you might be out driving, even in a Formula One car, and you need a pit stop to grab your meal replacement drink. Y-Food will keep you full for 3 to 5 hours. A bottle contains 25% of your daily energy and nutrient requirements, plus it will keep for up to 6 months, even without refrigeration. I'm not sure how many of you are experiencing the same problem as me, but the F1 car doesn't have a cup holder. That's where Y-Food snack bars step on in. Plenty of different flavors, a healthy and tasty snack. I'm going for salted caramel and chocolate. You can actually get 10% off now on the Y-Food taster pack featuring the 5 flavors we've shown you earlier. So check that out now, and a big thanks to Y-Food for sponsoring today's video. So what's actually changed in here? The first thing to point out is that we have this piece along the back. I don't think it's fully sealed in place yet, but again, this is about having a little bit of room. We've got the automatic lights that come on without it being a full-on dining table, 3-course dinner type experience. Obviously, we've got the fridge, which is all connected up. We've got a few of our cupboards in place, which all have soft close on them, which is all very nice. We do have a cutlery drawer if it's going to be used. And of course, under the sink, which is here, just protected at the moment, we have all of the plumbing and all of that, which is going to go the other side of that wall. We just haven't yet got to that. And obviously having the kitchen on this side with a cavity wall behind and then the toilets, the cavity wall obviously helps. I know a few people thought kitchen and toilets in the same kind of area, but if you think about plumbing, you kind of need to do that just with the right amount of separation, which we have here. Meanwhile, back over this side, in what was always intended to be our temporary office space, we need to get moving some things. Remember, we put in these gazebos, and to be honest, they've turned out to be a really good shout, but we've started taking things out, for example, the sofa and lots of the stuff that have been building up over this way, because the storage room is going to be measured out here. To paint the floor for the racetrack outside, obviously this all needs to go, which means all of the cabinets with all of my Lego cars, plus everything else that's on display down here as well, all needs to be shuffled out and taken somewhere else. So that's a project for later on. Another project is what Brad's up to over here.
We have purchased a label maker because we've got all of these nice tools, we've got some storage boxes, and we don't know exactly what goes where, and things are going to get lost. So we've purchased one of these. The only issue we have so far is no batteries. So maybe we need to take the centre out for an errand run to get some batteries, and then we can just label everything. We can label you as Tim, label me as Brad.
Label desks, label water bottles,
everything.
Label shelves. We need to label shelves in the storage room because we've got so much car stuff. It would be very helpful to have like shelves labeled. We're going to be literally labeling everything. Labeling each of our Y-Food bottles, labeling anything you can think of.
Maybe that's a future episode. Labeling the Shmuseum. Just label every part. Wall 1, wall 2. Yeah. Up
here then with the legend, Mr. Martin.
Good morning.
Making some pretty immense progress here, really. I'm actually watching all of this. All the plasterboards going up, giving us a bit of some drywall and some insulation. People have been asking me about insulation because you don't often see all that much of it. You kind of get it done and get it hidden away in about 5 seconds. You're like just go, go, go this morning.
Yeah, it's Monday, so Mondays I'm always full of energy and it starts to lessen as the week goes on, and on Friday I should probably be asleep. But we've started strong and we'll finish strong as well.
So if I can distract you from the middle office drywalls for a moment. Getting all of that done. The thing that's interesting me is how quickly you have managed to put this up today. The front section, the bulkhead, as I've been calling it.
Well, all the hard work was done when we put the timber framework in, and then clearly, as I'm working on my own today, I have some extra little helpers, which are fixed underneath there, so it's much faster for me to stand the boards on the top and screw them as I go along.
And then all the metal over the top of it?
Well, that, if I was to leave the plasterboard up there on its own, it would have an edge like this. And when Webbo comes back to tape and joint it, he'd be a bit upset with me. So I put this on as a finishing trim, and Webbo can tape and joint to that point there, and you get a lovely clean line at the top of your grandstand bulkhead.
So does this need some kind of further support?
Yes, what I'm going to do is with some purlin clamps in 4 to 6 places and some threaded rod, We will then drill a hole. If you want to come inside and look inside the timber, I've left this side off. We'll drill a hole through here. We use an M10 threaded rod, a big square washer, and some M10 nuts, and that's going to give that a little bit more support in the middle. It's quite a big span.
Yeah,
we don't want it to sag.
That's temporary, this beam here. That's
No, I'm going to leave that.
Yeah,
that looks lovely, don't you
nice
think?
Diagonal through the middle.
Yes.
It's actually a ginormous span, thinking about it.
Well, it's 6 metres, so it's quite a bit.
6 metre office room. I'm selfishly treating myself to a very large space in the middle. And then, what, we're probably a week or two away from that being kind of finished and painted?
I would say so. Again, I'm sure as has been said before, it looks quite quick when the stud work goes up, because you can do an awful lot fairly quickly. Then the boarding's quite quick. It's always the finishing element that takes the time. Tape and jointing, 2 or 3 coats, sanding in between, PVA seal, 2 coats of reasonably inexpensive paint, good quality top coat to finish. So it's quite a lengthy process.
With drying time between each one.
With drying time. So yes, we're pushing on as best we can.
And all meanwhile, you're working around my random furniture.
Yes, it's like being in your house, isn't it?
Random IKEA Kallaxes and Billy bookcases. That is the famous bookcase that I bought in the FF from IKEA many years ago. It has survived to date, somehow. Oh well. It's looking good. It's nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'll get out of your hair and try not to trip up and...
What hair?
Oh, yeah. Back downstairs, we need to get to the 675 LT. First up, though, we're going to pull the SF90 forwards. If you're wondering what this towel is for, it's because that was just washed and dripping. What that towel there is for, I have no idea. Kind of under the wheel of the SF90, so we'll pull that one out. Maybe I'll just leave that on for the moment. Brad has kindly unplugged that. Hybrid, of course, charged up. We'll pull the SF90 forwards, bring the Benpack Auto Stacker down, and then we'll be able to explain what we're doing with this. In fact, here's your clue, right there. That's your clue. Ready to go, electric drive. Pull it out, and then I'm going to grab that. Sound of electrical silence. There we go. Okay, grab safely. Dead straight forwards, dead straight forwards. That's enough, that's good. Stop. Perfect. Right, let me go around to the back and start getting this lowered down. It's so easy to use these. Literally on, we always use the emergency stops. You go up slightly so that it goes up onto the next lock point. There we go, releases both latches, lower it down, and we get a nice view of the underside of a 675 LT Spider. Except I forgot to turn it and unlock it. I've even mentioned multiple times that you should do that first. I was just a bit silly there. Right, now we're coming down. Now we're safe, now we're good. We will get a cold start of the 675 LT, which of course I very recently took out to Silverstone. That does sound good. Now, the reason for getting it started is because the lift system is up, and an interesting thing with the lift system on these cars is that they basically stress the hydraulics and various different seals. You actually need to leave the car parked at regular ride heights. If you leave it parked for an extended period with the lift up, it's bad for that side of things. So obviously we use the lift to drive it onto the car lift. You can see it going down right now. It drops about 2 inches, 5 centimeters or so. But for longer term storage, and you know, this is going to be parked there for what? Probably a month or two before it goes anywhere again. It needs to be done properly. So drop down to the right ride height and basically reverse all of this. Put the lift straight up once Brad is out, and then go bring the SF90 back in, plug that in as well, and probably tidy up what's going on here. And I mentioned that one as well. We need to get this to Ferrari because the contacts on the back of it have a little issue. And it's not connecting properly, so we need to fix that one up. Anyway, let me turn this back on. It's super simple. Up you go, wait a moment, and then pull the SF90 back underneath. Cloth removal services, not just production of the bulkhead. Right, we'll get this back into position, hopefully nice and straight as it was. Yes, all very easy. The trick with the SF90 is basically as far back as possible for the door to still open. Keep going, keep going, keep going, and stop. That should still just open. Let me try. Because, there we go, perfect. Everybody wants a very easy in and out of the car. Up here, we're in our storage room, up at the top of the mezzanine, because, obviously, with construction, we need to move some of the cameras.
Yeah, this one wasn't very well positioned, was it? Well,
I mean, it had a great view.
It was
had a great view
at
of,
first.
like, not a lot. Before there was a mezzanine here, it had a fabulous view. But this is where, in step our DeWalt tools, we have some very convenient lighting.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's
I'm
close.
blinding you here.
You are a little bit.
And
Almost lost the screw.
all the power tools and everything that we could possibly need. So it is a very big thanks to them for this, because otherwise it would be a whole lot more awkward.
Look at that.
Nice. Jump ahead. The camera is done. That now has a nice view. Wonderful. The next thing that we're going to take a look at, I have actually shown on the Shmuseum channel before, which is something really special for this space. In fact, I've actually shown it on the Shmeemobiles 50 channel. Indeed, I nearly forgot that. It was while I was out in the United States on a previous visit, which is this by Massimo G. This is an illuminated Shmuseum logo, which is of course going to be mounted on the wall in the halo space. So the trick behind this is to figure out exactly where it's going. If you come with me, going to have to go kind of the long way around. Carefully does it with this, because this is going to get mounted over here on the wall about there. So we need to figure out how to measure out exactly where that's going to go, and obviously make sure we've got all of the right power to it, but we have been planning this, so we do have the cables behind, and you can see a little bit with the blue and white that we've got going on in the halo space, how all of this is going to work, because this is also a bit of blue and white in the illumination. Pretty nice detail if we can get this hung up and ready. That'd actually be really cool. Plus we've got some more lighting to work out in here as well. Otherwise it's going to be a touch darker than it should be. This is going to be the first time actually for me testing out something on one of these plugs. So in theory, there we go. Boom. That is very bright. Now you do actually have a second cable. I believe you can plug it into two at once and make it even brighter. I'm not necessarily sure that we need it to go even brighter, but I'm going to give this a shot because it will be interesting. Yep, that got even brighter. Oh my days. Holy moly, that is bright. Whoa. That's actually fascinating. Wow. That's intense. Okay, I see what it does there. One's like more on the blue and the other's more on the white. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we now need to go and figure out how to mount this so that these go around the back, and then we can have a kind of clicker that basically turns them on. Fingers crossed that's going to work. We're very quickly moving on to getting this mounted up, and it's going to be quite high on this wall because obviously there'll be a car here, so you want to be able to see it over the top of the car. It has a few screw holes, one at the top and two on each side. We'll be able to run the cable behind the back eventually and get that plugged in, but for now we'll just use the power sockets that we've got at the bottom for the trickle chargers, smart chargers. Yeah, get it on the wall. I guess we're a bit committed now. There's a screw hole.
We always have Webbo and taping and jointing, and obviously Brad, with his 15-minute career of painting, will be able to paint it.
Sounds dangerous to me. This feels like quite a big moment. Well, it'll be an even bigger moment once it's turned on. This is where things get really fancy, using the laser. To get it straight.
So if you can see, the laser line just crosses the top right-hand hole, but not the bottom, so we need to move that.
I gotcha. Repivot it slightly. That is very snazzy to work out where those holes are. It looks like we've jumped the gun, and instead of plugging in down here, we fed it through straight away. This is now installed, so let's test it out. 3, 2, 1. Boom, check that out. That's really cool. Very, very bright, but really, really cool. The first illuminated sign up on the wall here at the Shmuseum from Massimo G. Remember, I got this out in Miami, and it's now here in the UK. The amount of change today is amazing, but we need to see this as well with the lights off. Tom is over there by the switches. Right, 3, 2, 1. Boom, look at that. Obviously imagine up top with all of the lights as well. That's pretty cool, isn't it? We'll have the lounge, we'll have the halo space, we'll have a car in here, we're gonna have a little bit more lighting as well. And not only that, hopefully this doesn't go too much out of focus as we look around the very dark Shmuseum, we also have the bulbs on the top of the gas pumps as well. This is a very, very cool setup. Throw in a few more lights down the line, and it's going to be really, really quite fun in here. Amazing. Let's have the lights back on. There we go. Boom. Mega. What a result. It's label time. This is where we are creating, I don't know what you're doing.
I'm searching for a plus. There we go, plus.
Symbols, because each of these boxes is going to get labelled up like this. Batteries in there, which is going to help us a lot. And we just paused the sound system again.
I think I've got this right. It should be impact gun and driver, if I've spelled everything correct. Can you see that?
Are we going to put some spaces? Do you have
I've
spaces?
put spaces,
Oh,
yeah, I think.
Okay, perfect.
Print. And now? Now we wait.
Checking.
Have I done it right?
Impact, gun, plus. Oh, there's a typo, Brad.
Where? Is there?
No, you're good.
And then you press this bit.
And that like chops it. And then you can put it in.
So now we can stick it.
Smooth.
Won't do it right now, but we can stick it onto there and put it in there. Bit like batteries. Here's one I made earlier, Blue Peter.
That's going to be much, much smoother. Actually, do you know what? Can you just hold this for a second? I want to grab something from inside here.
Are we both coming in?
Maybe can do just for a second, because of course this is, I did say I was going to be emptying out some of this room today. Hasn't really happened. We've been trying to fix a stupid Cat 6 cable, which is not the easiest thing in the world. Anyway, I need to take more of model cars and stuff over to the cabinets out here. So at least I've done one thing today, right? At least one single thing has come out. Here, I don't even remember what I've got here. The bottom one I do know, that's an E500 estate.
Oh, cool.
Yes, the middle one I think is a GR Yaris, and the top one is an M3 competition in Isle of Man Green. Very convenient.
Mind the tracks?
Yeah, don't want to make a mistake there. I'm just going to stack these up here for the time being. Imagine if one went smash on the floor right now. I should probably unbox them. I've also obviously got a purple Zenvo. I've got a Zenvo in Lila Perlamore, but we need some more shelves. I need to get some glass shelves in here before we can unpack the rest of those. That is really cool, by the way. Like, really cool. Like, really, really, really cool. Very bright, but epic. Like, loving it. We've basically been cracking on for the last, I don't know, hour or so, getting a whole lot done. Brad's done some labels.
I've done a great job with my labels. I'm very, very happy. These two are empty, hence they've got the T-Stack logo. We've got tire inflator and heat guns in that one, batteries, impact gun and driver, everything we could need.
You've labelled everything.
I mean, literally, oh yeah, this one.
I don't know what it says, but...
That's a good one. You'll see in the video.
Okay, fine. I'll leave it there. However, in the meantime, come and have a look in here. You haven't really been in here.
I've not been in here at all.
This is a little bit different to how it was before. We're basically squeezing everything in.
Oh yeah,
so,
this has changed.
Yeah, this colossal amount of mess is now verging, I reckon, in half an hour or so, we could pull away the gazebo. We could ceremonially cut away the zip tie that's holding it together. I'm tired. It's been a lot of lifting. Basically, the Lego cabinets obviously are just here for storage, because where they're going to end up is kind of just outside there, which means there's no point in taking them all the way from here to like under the mezzanine or something, because we're just gonna have to carry them back again. So we just kind of rotated them all in, stacked everything up top. I'm just working my way through the last random bits of rubbish that I've got down here. And then working out things like, the complication of this is like power cables, printer, for example. I have to move the printer somewhere and plug it in somewhere, temporarily.
If we need to use the printer right now, which...
I can't not have it plugged in because I know something will come up and it's like, oh, what am I gonna do? Anyway. Progress, slide everything from one desk, move the desk, revert, get it all done. We'll get there, and very shortly we might be taking this down. It has been a very long day, but we're kind of wrapping things up now. To see this transforming, literally in front of our eyes, the bulkhead up top, more of the drywall, the sign now hanging in the halo space, some of the cameras that we've moved, and obviously over on this side, a very, very big change, but this has all been absolutely necessary. Now, we're probably going to be still using that gazebo as basically a temporary office until upstairs is ready, because downstairs is basically a lounge, it's not an office space, right? But the view from there out over all of this is unreal, is absolutely unreal. And this is only like part 4 of all of this changing. I mean, coming up, we still need to tidy and sort out a lot more. We need to get all of this occupiable, and there's plenty more before that. I want to talk a little bit more about choices for different things. I know it might sound obvious, but even down to like carpets and all of that kind of stuff. Plus, obviously, we're trying to connect things. So there's going to be a lot of connected stuff, smart home stuff going in. So that's all coming very soon as well. Oh, what a mega day. Big thanks to Martin and, of course, his team for everything going on with all of this. We're all completely shattered, as you can probably tell. It's been a very, 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 very long day, more than 12 hours of doing stuff non-stop basically, and a lot of moving and quite a lot of hard work stuff. And that is why, of course, we have survived thanks to YFood as well. So do check out, with my discount coupon, the link down below, head over to YFood, get your taster pack now and join in with all of that. That's it for now though. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.